One of the biggest and most important questions of the early 90s, when the USSR fell apart, was how to privatize old state properties fairly. So people were to become shareholders of old state properties, and that would get a kickstart to a free market economy in the new country. And if we fast forward to today, the biggest question of 2024 is how to seize, to confiscate properties, assets, and successful businesses that belong to people and redistribute them to the siloviki. Attorney General's office people, the KGB officers, policemen, Rosguardia. Not all, of course, but those among siloviki who have enough power, their friends and families. Welcome to Putin's Russia. Now, in April of 2024, we can definitely tell the direction Russia is going. Welcome to Putin's Russia. And we have sound now. That's good. Howdy, everyone. My name is Konstantin. Welcome to Inside Russia, where usual Russia is explained by the unusual Russian. No propaganda or BS or lies here, only truth, common sense, and logic. And some emotions too, because I'm a human being after all. What I'm about to tell you today sounds pretty darn unbelievable. It sounds like utopian sci-fi book. But what can I do? Russia has become that. Russia has become pretty darn unbelievable, and in a bad way. Let me start by giving you some examples. Oh boy. Oh boy. Makfa. Have you heard of Makfa? Well, if you live in Russia, you have. You've probably eaten it. Makfa Open Joint Stock Company is a Russian manufacturer of pasta, flour, and cereals with a share of more than 23% of the Russian pasta market. It's Russia's largest. Every fifth box of pasta sold in Russia is manufactured by Makfa. It is one of the top 5 largest pasta manufacturers in the world. Yes, you heard me right, in the world. It produces over 150 food products, and the production volume of pasta is more than 180,000 metric tons per year. 180,000 tons. Different flour of all varieties, and 450,000 tons per year of flour, and cereals over 10,000 tons per year. Again, Russia's largest manufacturer, world's top 5 manufacturers. Makfa owns agricultural land, lots of land, and grows own crops. It's one of Russia's most successful companies. The company itself is the result of a series of mergers and acquisitions that, date to late 90s. The company has won many business awards, is a large taxpayer, and is considered an icon of Russian business community. The Central District Court of Chelyabinsk has received a claim from the Prosecutor General's Office of Russia requesting that the shares of Makfa to be confiscated by the state and to be converted into the state property. The reason for that is that the Prosecutor's General Office believes that this company has a corrupt origin, since their beneficiaries, shareholders, former governor of the Chelyabinsk region, Mikhail Yurevich, and ex-senator of Russian parliament, Vadim Belousov, were engaged in doing business while being representatives of state authorities, held offices. Yurevich was Russian parliament senator from 2000 to 2005, then later, until 2010, the mayor of Chelyabinsk, and after that he served as governor of Chelyabinsk province. Vadim Belousov was Russian parliament senator from 2011 to 2023. They did not disclose that they were owners of some businesses. Their fault is that after becoming officials, they did not abandon entrepreneurial activities and, I quote, created a false appearance of distancing themselves from business projects, unquote. They transferred ownership of their company to their parents and children, as well as to their friends and business partners. In addition, Yurevich and Belosov created a circle of trusted persons to whom they transferred ownership of their companies and assigned responsibilities for their company's management. The court has accepted the claim into the production. It means that, investigation is done, the court is at work, and there will be a verdict. And I think it's pretty safe to say what verdict it'll be. Now, do you understand that the government wants to steal these people's private property, the shares of a large company, Russia's largest company, that they created and grew? For them, being officials, selling the company to others and making those others manage it, that's their crime. Okay? The Russian authorities are claiming that that's the crime. Selling the company to the people you know and managing by proxy. That's pretty unbelievable. Okay, the next case. Meet the Chelyabinsk Electrical Metallurgical Plant, Russia's largest producer of ferroalloys, 80% of market share. The range of plant's products include more than 120 items of ferroalloys themselves and ligatures, more than 40 products of electrode production. Plant's products are widely used in paint and rubber industry, in road, industrial and residential construction, and in agriculture. According to the Forbes, Chelyabinsk plant is Russia's 199th largest company. That's pretty big. Again, the Prosecutor General's Office of Russia has requested in February that the shares of the Chelyabinsk Electrical Metallurgical Plant to be confiscated by the state and converted into the state property. The prosecutor's office claims that from 1993 to 1999, state regional committees and property funds clearly acted in excess of their authority, approving the privatization of the existing plants, including Chelyabinsk Plate. They were state properties back then. And that led to distribution of 100% of the shares that those shares did not belong to the state regional committees and properties. Therefore, the assets, the plant was sold to the current owners illegally. The state that sold the shares of the plant that it belonged to the state, sold the shares illegally, and now the very same state wants to confiscate and steal this property, take it back, saying, hey, things happen. This is so absurd. Well, in addition, according to the Prosecutor General's Office lawsuit, the products of the plant intended for the production of weapons and ammunition and are exported to the United States of America, France, and the United Kingdom at an undervalued cost and price, and to the detriment of national interests. One of the owners, Yuri Antipov, in February 2023, registered a company and transferred the plant to this company called Etalon LLC, and they fell, that Etalon LLC fell under the control of the residents of an unfriendly state. In particular, the Canadian-Swiss company called RFA International, which acts as a plant's international trader. That's according to prosecutor's office lawsuit. So, again, this is so absurd. This plant is working and producing lots of products and selling it all over the world, including to the USA, France, and England. And it establishes a trader outside Russia. Okay, that's a normal practice, and it's not illegal according to Russian law. And based on that, the prosecutor's office wants to seize the property, the plant. The owners of the plant, in a desperate attempt to defend their rightful property, claim that similar privatization schemes in the 90s were used absolutely in all regions of Russia. It was a normal practice, but these errors, so-called errors, that's what the prosecutor general calls them, they were identified only in a very few enterprises somehow. And I am a witness to that. That was an absolutely normal practice, and back then the state did not consider that it was acting in excess of its rights. No, it wasn't. It was doing rightfully what it was supposed to do. It was privatizing, selling off the properties that it owned. It's free economy for you. The owners of the plant also claim that the enterprise is not part of the military-industrial complex. They claim that the products are supplied to metallurgical enterprises abroad, and there isn't a law that forbids Russian companies to do so. This bogus violation during privatization 30 years ago served as the basis for the prosecutor general's office winning two other similar lawsuits. Volzhsky Orgsintes and Metafrax Chemicals were also seized from rightful owners and transferred into state's possession. Let's take a look at the next case. Kubань Vino is Russia's largest wine producer and vineyard owner. In 2023, the company produced 95.5 million bottles of wine. That's a lot. And 38.9 million bottles of other various alcoholic beverages other than wine. A part of the same holding company, Arient Agro-Farm Company, belonging to the same owners, exists, and it was one of the largest pork producers in Russia with its facilities among top 15 main suppliers of this type of meat, pork. According to the National Union of Pig Breeders, in 2023, the agricultural firm Arient Agro-Farm was Russia's 14th largest pork producer. And there came, guess who? The Prosecutor General's Office of Russia, again. Claiming illegal privatization of old Soviet enterprise grape producer, back in the 90s, Prosecutor General sued Kubань Vino and demanded both Kubань Vino and Arient Agro-Farm Company be confiscated and the shares transferred to the state's property ownership. But wait a second. This company, Arient Agro-Farm, was not privatized in the 90s. It was created by the owners of Kubань Vino later. They simply created a new business division and developed it. It's called diversification. Today, Russian court has decided, on April 11th, Russian court decided to confiscate all properties, Kubань Vino, both Kubань Vino and Arient Agro-Farm Company, and transfer ownership to Russian state. The owners have made a statement that is absolutely absurd, that is lawlessness, and they will appeal to Russia's Supreme Court. Good luck, boys. The new head of the Supreme Court is a former classmate of Vladimir Putin. You let us know how the court hearing goes, There's a list of Russian enterprises and properties to be seized. It currently contains 770 companies. It is unofficial, but who is in the know? We know about that. 770 companies are to be transferred from rightful owners to the state. I just named you 3, but there are 767 more. Now, let me tell you how it's done first, and then why it's done. To seize assets from Russians, the prosecutor's office most often uses 3 schemes. The most common of them is based on complaints about how the privatization of enterprises took place in the 90s. Over the past a few months, Russian court have 18 months to be exact. Russian courts have considered at least 7 lawsuits in which prosecutors demanded that companies privatized 25, 30 years ago be returned to the state. Another way to take assets from Russian private rightful owners is to declare them foreign investors. The law on foreign investments was created and it's been enforced since 2008. It describes the rules for foreign investors who want to acquire shares in Russian enterprises of strategic importance for ensuring the defense and security of the country. If a foreign investor intends to buy a controlling interest in such company, Russian company, he or she must first coordinate transaction with the government commission. The law makes an exception for transactions where a Russian asset formally comes under the control of a foreign legal entity, but the final beneficiary turns out to be Russian. Well, it makes perfect sense because, then, matter of national security still belongs to a Russian citizen. That makes perfect sense. In such cases, government approval is not required of such, commission. Despite this, FAS, Federal Antitrust Agency, that monitors compliance with this law, and the Prosecutor General's office began to equate existing Russian owners with foreign investors. I know, it's crazy. It turned out that they had to coordinate such, the purchases of their assets with the government commission, but didn't do so. This means that the assets were acquired with violations and should be seized. Again, Russian owners were equated to foreign investors. This is the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life. And that was scheme number 2. And the scheme number 3 is frequent nationalization scheme. It is a seizure of assets from entrepreneurs, businessmen who are accused of corruption or fraud. In 2023, the Prosecutor General's office began to use this scheme actively. At the same time, prosecutors demand to seize the property that the accused owned openly and for many years, even if there were no claims against them, no claims for any kind of fraud, for any kind of, any kind of criminal activity, it doesn't matter. All 3 schemes are fairly recent, okay, and they started using them after the start of the war in Ukraine. The uniqueness of this situation is that all government agencies doing it are crooks, but they're doing it according to the Russian law, or Russian laws. Remember, I've been telling you that they have created a legal foundation for oppression of both people and businessmen. Well, we're seeing it in action right now. They claim that they're seizing the companies that are of security importance for the country. Well, what about the wine manufacturer, wine producer? How is that security of and defense of the country? What, do they need to keep their soldiers in the front lines drunk all the time? That's why they need to seize and transfer this winemaker, Russia's largest winemaker, into the state property. It's very fishy here. So this is how they do it. There are 3 schemes. Now, why this is happening? Why they're doing it? To answer this question, we must bring up Vladimir Putin and his concept of the new elites. You see, to maintain his power, Vladimir Putin created a system of power in Russia called the vertical of power. I have covered the vertical of power extensively in other streams. I think most of you are familiar with it. The vertical of power is based on government agencies with rights to use violence against Russian citizens who are armed. There are currently over a dozen agencies, and the biggest and strongest ones, of course, are KGB, the police, the army, the Ministry of Emergency Situations, the Prosecutor General's Office, Investigative Committee, and so forth. All these agencies, all the Siloviki, they are serving Putin, and they're making sure that he remains in his Tsar chair on the throne. And they are rewarded for their service. Main reward is not the money, it's not their salaries, it's not the pay, it's not bonuses. Main reward is when other authorities, everyone, closing their eyes when the Siloviki make a buck or two on the side. And how did they make buck or two in the past? They simply took bribes. But now, bribes are not enough. The longer Putin at power, the tougher it gets, okay? The longer Putin at power, the more force he needs to be applied to violence, to be applied to regular Russian people to keep them in place. And we are seeing it. We have been seeing it for past 25 months now, over 2 years. You see, Putin started waging the war in Ukraine and Ukrainian people, but at the same time, he started waging a war on Russians, on its own people, on its own country. And the longer it gets, the longer it continues, the more violent it gets. And it's gone pretty far. And now, Siloviki, they understand their huge importance. And they aren't satisfied with just money or just bribes. They need properties. They need businesses. And right now, there is a fight. And we're seeing the first stage. There are a few stages right now. The first stage is when the Siloviki, those in power, they start seizing properties, stealing it from the businessmen. Again, we're seeing the stage one now. It's when prosecutors general's office comes in and sues a perfectly normal legal company, making up bogus charges, and Russian court satisfies a claim and, transfers property of a perfectly normal, legal, transparent company that manufactures ferrous alloys or that makes wine, that makes pasta, grows food, you name anything, that creates good products and sells those products to the public or to the businesses. So that's when they come in and steal. So the companies, steal the assets, steal the businesses. This is stage one. Right now, they are taking the best companies. Please notice that I told you that every single company from the three from the list has made it to Russia top 200 companies, 200 largest companies by the Forbes. It's called the Forbes list in Russia, okay? So right now, they're stealing the best of the cream of the crop. And sooner or later, they will switch to smaller companies, not as successful companies. Again, there are 770 companies in their list right now, the targets. The next stage, stage two, is when Siloviki, at this point, again, it's very important. Right now, stage one, there's plenty for everyone. Plenty for everyone to take. But the next stage, when Siloviki will seize the cream of the crop companies, they will seize more or less attractive companies, and they will start fighting each other for assets. They will start applying force and violence and their own power to fight others. agency against agency. For example, KGB versus the police versus the army and so forth. The third step will be the siloviki within one agency will be fighting each other. And this will remind when you put a bunch of spiders into one jar, sooner or later, they will start fighting and, eating each other. And the fourth step, the situation will get out of control, and there will be armed conflicts and spilling blood all over Russia. And this is why it is happening, what we're seeing right now. Again, it's very unbelievable. Even a couple years ago, before the war started, I would never believe that something like that, this kind of arbitrariness would be happening in Russia. But you know what? All it takes is 25 months. It is said? No, it is beyond said. Of course, Ukrainians are having absolutely different situation. They're actually being killed. Russian forces are razing their cities. They're killing everyone. That's the bloody war, the bloodshed. In Russia, there's also war, but only on its own people, and it's going to last much longer than the war in Ukraine. Unbelievable. Russia has become such a dystopian society that's just incredible. Folks, I don't have anything else to say except for get your popcorn ready. Thank you so very much. That's been my message for today. Fantastic for everyone so everyone came and gave me a chance. Thank you for listening to my message. Now I would like to ask you to let me know what you think. Agree, disagree, perhaps you have questions, and I'll try to answer as many as I can. Thank you. This news just came in from the winemaker, from the company that the largest winemaker, used to be privately held company. Now it belongs to the state. Actually, on April 10th, the transfer was, it happened. The court ruled, had a verdict, and the state instantly came in. Within a few hours, all ownership was transferred. And the previous owners are pretty mad, and they're claiming it's absolute arbitrariness, and they're absolutely right. But again, good luck going to the Supreme Court that is headed by Putin's classmate now. This news just came in today, and the reason I learned about it is because I monitor all the news that are coming from Russia, and I handpicked 9 of them that most important in my opinion, and I select them. I find news that matter, and I make them available along with my commentaries and analysis to the patrons and sponsors of Inside Russia. So if you'd like to get access to the news, please sign up to become a patron at patreon.com, and you'll become an expert on what's currently happening in Russia. Meanwhile, I am turning the live stream chat on. Thank you so very much. I had a technical problem with my camera this time. That's why I started the stream later. I apologize. It's always something. I just can't. I try to control as much as I can, but things happen all the time. That's what happens when you do streams by yourself. Just in case, if you're here for the first time, please know that this channel has the best moderation team in the world. Lorna, Mama K, Dirk, Bob S., Harry Potnin, and Amir Fazat. Thank you so much, friends, for coming. Thank you for watching my back, and thank you for making this community a pleasant place. Thank you for everyone to come back, for coming back. Thank you, the usual suspects. You're not usual suspects anymore. Every time I turn on a live stream chat on, I feel like I walk into a pub and I see a bunch of friends and everyone cheers. And I cheer to you, but only it's not beer, it's English breakfast. And it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you, friends. As usual, if you want me to notice your message easier, please put it in all caps or put inside Russia after @ so it appears in large highlighted orange box for me. Since I started later, we will finish. We won't have a very long one. We will finish on time, 1:15 a.m. my time. So thank you very much for your support. Mac from Switzerland, thank you. I can already see how Siloviki are fighting over the best resources and experts because it's not enough to take over the best companies. You also need the logistics and people to do so. And you know what, Mac? Absolutely right. You are so much spot on. Right. It's not enough to steal someone's company. You gotta manage the company, you gotta operate it, and you need talent, you need motivation, you need. What they're doing is they steal a company. Now, I think one step I have forgotten to tell you earlier in the stream is that, look, let's say they seize the property. The state seizes it, right? Well, the state, Russian state, does not have any body, any agency, let's say the agency of seized companies, stolen companies, that a company joins that becomes part of that agency, and for example, state inspectors or directors come and start managing the company. There's nothing like that. The ownership, this is absolutely unique situation for Russia, just how it started happening. And they don't, well, not like they don't know what to do with it. They know. The thing is, they're not going to manage. The state is not going to manage. It's going to give to other people. It's going to lease for decades to certain people. For example, a son of a KGB general, okay? No affiliation there. That son is a citizen, something like that. Or someone from a prosecutor's general's office, or a person proxy, okay? So stealing is just step number one. The second step will be redistributing to someone. And then that someone gets a company, let's say a lover of a KGB officer or something like that. And what will she do with it? Is she qualified to run a business? Is she qualified? Well, is she qualified for anything? Or not necessarily a lover, a friend, a distant family, a son, or anyone. The value of a company is that owner of a company, the founder of a company who founded and had vision and had energy, had motivation, had determination, was building, was growing, was nurturing the company. That's the only person or a group of people who can operate the company successfully. You steal it from them, give it to somebody else, and it's as the USSR all over again, Even if these Siloviki find experts, who is going to manage day-to-day operations? I don't know. Do you think that's going to be an effective business? No, of course not. Look what's happening with egg production right now. It's declining 7% every month. Okay? So anyway, this is a long play act. And like I said, get your popcorn ready because that's going to be happening. And not just the stealings, but then what happens next? You can be sure that I have marked all the names, okay? And I'm going to be monitoring those companies. I'm going to be looking at what happens next. Kuban Vino, the website is already down today because the state came in yesterday, okay? I'm pretty sure that they're counting all the bottles of wine. They stole everything. They stole the finished wine. They stole the grapes. They stole facilities. Imagine, they're doing something like this. Gee. Anyway, so, but you are spot on in terms of, they're fighting for the experts, but good luck to get the experts. Well, even if they get experts to manage, they need owners. They need people who put their heart and soul into these companies. Good luck. It's such a dystopian society. I can't believe Russia has become that. I'm getting agitated. I'm sorry. And then it's funny. Another thing, I'm sorry, not looking at the questions right now. Another interesting thing is Vladimir Putin comes out in front of the entire world and says, one of the goals of the Russian state is to attract investors. My question is, for what? For building a company, making it to the list of the Forbes top 200 largest companies of Russia, so that your company is simply stolen from you? What kind of crazy idiot you gotta be to invest into Russia? Perhaps I'm wrong. Let me know, because I don't even know what to say. It's crazy. Dan Taylor, how and when will all this end? I think it'll end rather sooner than later, and it'll end in blood. Unfortunately, I believe it will end in blood. The question is small blood or big blood? Do you think that Russia and NATO will go to war? No. Russia cannot go into war with NATO. Russia is going to be defeated in days. I mean, destroyed or defeated, I don't know, but that's not going to turn out good for Russia. And Russia does not need to go to war with NATO. It's the Siloviki, they have taken over entire Russian society. They're just going to be enriching themselves. Imagine a general or someone of that magnitude, a politician, who all of a sudden became the owner of Russia's largest wine manufacturer. Does he need to go to war with NATO? That's the last thing he needs. He needs to enjoy his new company. He needs to sell everything off, or, sell all those tens or hundreds of millions bottles that the previous owners made for him, and those bottles of wine in the warehouses. Once he sells them, he makes tons of money, billions of dollars perhaps, and he needs to enjoy his money. Like, why would they go to war with NATO? So no, Dan Taylor, no, I do not think so. Janice Burgess, howdy. Caesars, good to see you from Czech. Hello, Constant, you choose the same news at the Czech TV for today? Haha, well, that's good to know, because those folks are professional and I'm not. And trust me, I do not watch Czech TV. Their web was reporting about Chelyabinsk companies' nationalizations. Well, I cheated a little bit in terms of everyone is reporting about that. It's not a secret, okay? It's a big news in Russia, but not just the Chelyabinsk. Chelyabinsk is a done deal, okay? What I was really surprised is the Kuban Vino, the wine manufacturer. Wine manufacturer. It's a strategic resource, used in the war, wine, right? And they seized it. What a bunch of no good bums, Pinda the Peanut is back, and this is fantastic. Good to see you. Terry, put all day at work. This is my like full-time job. I wake up, I go to breakfast, drink a coffee, I have a porridge. Sometimes I have fried potato, home style, and I come back home. I slowly sit down at this table right here, and I spend the rest of the day researching, thinking, writing down, fact-checking, things like that. So, yes, I have put lots of work into this stream. Keith, howdy, sending love to Hawaii. Baker Stock, and I'm reading those comments in caps, highlighted in orange. Sam K, the legend. Bob, hello again. KG1, why hasn't there been another coup against Putin since Wagner? There was one. There was, not the coup, but they were, was, so to speak, smoke before the heavy fire, if you know what I mean. A Russian general, I believe in August, was fired because he gained too much popularity among Russian armed forces. And he was fired as a result of he stood up and he said, let's be honest, we're losing too much men, we're losing strategical positions, we're losing this war. Let's be honest to ourselves, that's not lie. And according to him, Putin was being misinformed. And the generals, many generals were just lying when they were reporting of their progress in Ukraine. And so basically he stood up and said, let's be honest with ourselves. And then he's madly popular with his soldiers, and he was fired immediately. And the soldiers actually got together and they made a statement. They're saying that if something would happen to their general, that they would turn their guns someplace else. So definitely there was a borderline situation, and the general was sent, I think, to Syria or someplace far. Okay, nothing's happened to him, but I think he's on the list of something bad waiting to happen. Why hasn't been another coup against Putin? Well, Putin sent a very strong message by killing Prigozhin. That's one thing. And another thing is, I believe that Putin and his buddies learned a lesson from Wagner mutiny. And I believe, it's unconfirmed, okay, it's just a speculation, but I believe that there were some new alliances made inside Russian power groups, okay? Promises were given, perhaps, to make sure that that doesn't happen again. But it doesn't mean that it won't happen in the future. You know, Caesars and everyone, we were just talking at the Breakfast Club, we were talking about the situation, and I argued with one of the people I know. It's like a friendly argument, arguing. We don't fight, we just try to prove our points. Okay, we're very friendly. And he was saying that, look, now it's going to, the situation is going to last for a very long time, and we can be sure nothing will change anytime soon. And that makes me remember the USSR. If we go back in time, and let's say we just magically appear on August 1st of 1991, end of summer or close to the end of summer, nice weather. Summer in Russia is very nice. It's mild. Weather in Rostov, it's hot. Myself and my buddies, school buddies, we still have 4 weeks to go. We go into junior high, we're sophomores. We still have 4 weeks to play. We usually played on the streets. We didn't have any computers, no TV, nothing. So we just used to play football or hang out on the streets from morning till night playing cards. And then if someone were to tell us on August 1st that 3 weeks later we would wake up in absolutely new, different country, someone would tell us that? Someone would tell our parents? We would laugh. Because back then, on August 1st, August 7th, August 15th, August 17th, it was very solid. We thought that the USSR would last for another 100 years and our lives would not change and we would be doing the same thing all over again, okay? Little did we know that just around the corner, changes that would take our country, put it upside down, change it forever, were just right there, days away. Okay, and the very same thing can happen to Russia. They're saying, oh, that's going to last for a long time. I don't think so. I think Russia has entered the period of turbulence that's going to be shaking the country. And, you know, there's no foundation for everything being stable. There's the front lines, okay? Ukraine, the situation in the front lines is absolutely, you know, not favorable for Russia. Ukraine has been asking for military assistance for how many months? Well, sooner or later it's going to get it, okay? They just signed a new law, mobilization law, today. They're going to somehow reform the mobilization procedures. What happens when they get more tanks? They're going to get F-16 planes very soon. They're going to get, you know, Patriot missile air defense system and so forth. What's going to come from the front lines? What's going to come from the armed forces? Perhaps people are getting fed up. What's going to happen within KGB? Perhaps there are different power groups hungry for power. Okay, what if is Vladimir Putin mortal? He's over 70. I mean, for goodness sake. So many things can happen unexpectedly. Sam the Legend, how did Putin the rat escape the sewers? So I don't know. You tell me. KG1. So I hope I answered your question about the coup. Mag, thank you again. Caesars, thank you. Caesars, I think that you will be hearing more and more of these nationalizations, because this is the big thing in Russia. 770 companies. And the thing is, that fact that the list exists, it means that there are already 770 new owners have placed those companies on the list, okay? And then 770 biggest Russia's companies, that's, I don't know, probably half of the economy, okay? So, you're going to be hearing more and more of that. Pineapple water, Prigozhin is dead. You do not understand if you believe otherwise. That guy was making videos daily and lived to be on the front lines with his mercenaries. Your earth must be flat also. Pineapple water. I don't get it. Have I ever claimed that Prigozhin is still alive? I believe that he's dead. Perhaps I misunderstood your statement, but it kind of sounds very odd to me. Crusader Damien, howdy, give me your best question. What is the end game for Russia? Hard to sell, Nige. It's hard to say now. It's hard to say. There's definitely going to be turmoil. It can result in Russia being left as Russia, only with new leadership, new paradigm, new philosophy, or it can be bloody war, and then there will be a few countries in place of Russia. We don't know that, but that's going to be... It's not going to be easy for Russia and for the Russians. That's for sure. This can be very painful, very long, very, very disastrous. Gosh, I'm recalling 20 years ago. Such a great time, you know. Russians took their country and, how do I say that politely? Peed it off. Or out. Michael Martineau, thank you so much for checking in. Jack S., how is the weapon industry now in Russia? It's growing. The military-industrial complex is being flooded with money, and it's working, producing more and more weapons. It's limited by old technologies, though. and it's struggling to get new technologies, and thank goodness. Alta Mirage, Russia will be free. They just need to believe that this disgusting feudalism will end. You know, this disgusting feudalism has been Russia's Russia's story since 1612, since the Ivan the Terrible. I mean, sooner or later, Russia will be free, okay? And sooner or later, sun will expand to the size that it will simply consume Earth in fire. Yes, it will happen. And Russia will be free, okay? But the problem, the question is when and how. Bob, thank you for posting Buy Me Coffee, replacing Nightbot. I hope everyone watched the video I uploaded yesterday about floodings. In some places, a little update. Some places, flooding is becoming a little better, easier. The water is going down, but some places, the water is still going up. Stefan, thank you so much. A joke from the 80s. KP discusses who's KP. Issue dollar to the US for wheat. Idea, we make the US communist, money stays in ComCon. Great cheering. I'm sorry. A little lost, Stefan, but one has a concern. Where do we get the wheat from then? What's ComCon? Stefan, thanks for the joke, but I'm sorry, I'm being slow. I didn't quite understand. Caesars, it took my country 40 years to start returning nationalized assets back. You mean right now the Czech Republic is giving privatized assets to the rightful owners? Is this what I understood? Then I understand it right. Pineapple water, that comment was meant for one of your members that believes if he himself doesn't see as dead but he's still alive. He does not understand how Putin works. I also think that there's no chance for Prigozhin to be alive. I mean, he needs to be dead for one simple reason, to show that Putin means business. Putin, with Prigozhin being alive, it's a message to everyone. Hey, you can take on power of the Tsar and get away with it. And then if this is a message to everyone, then everyone will be trying that. Hey, what's the big deal? I'll try. I'll have a choice. I'll have a, I'll try and I'll get away with it. Okay, so Putin, I just don't understand how Prigozhin couldn't foresee it. It's I don't get it. Interesting what Prigozhin was promised and why he believed. Great. Twinings. English breakfast. Such a great tea. Crusader Damien. Howdy, friend, again. Do Russians understand that we're already at war and we are heading for the direct conflict? Is Russian psyche prone to martyrdom? Suicidal? How does this end? Good question. We will see how it ends one way or another. Russians do not understand that we are at war and that we're heading for direct conflict. No, they're not seeing that. They don't even understand what's going on in Ukraine. Okay, they are living in their own informational bubbles, safety zones, and they don't want to get out of their safety zones. When I start asking most questions, they're like, no, 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 we don't want to talk about it. We avoid political discussions whatsoever. How can you do that? That's your country, your taxes, your armed forces killing other people. No, 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 no. It's gonna, disturb us. Okay. So they do not understand. Are they prone to martyrdom? No, they just suicidal. No, they just apathic to a point where they might depart with their lives, part with their lives because of their apathy. That's the best I can answer. Stop scamming them. Thank you so much for coming back, and thanks for the support. Good to see you. The clip you showed a few days back of a Russian official blaming the bursting of a dam on a mouse making a hole was so absurd that it made the cartoon Tom and Jerry look like a nature documentary. It was not an official, okay? That was the general contractor. That was either the general director or the owner of a company that built the dam. Today, the Minister of Construction, yes, there's a Ministry of Construction of Russian Federation, came out and he said that that guy was talking about a mouse making a hole is a complete joke, and then the minister will make sure that there will be investigation and so forth. So it was not the official speaking, it was the damn constructor, so to speak. But other than that, I absolutely agree with you. It's so insane. It's absurd. So 1:15, I'm watching the time, and we'll be wrapping up fairly soon. Roy Cousins from London, thank you for being sponsor for 17 months. Thank you. I am enjoying my wonderful English tea. I'm totally addicted to it. It's all I've been drinking for the past, I guess, 3 years. Janice Burgess, sponsor for 24 months. Thank you. It's my pleasure, my honor. Love this channel. Thank you. Sending love from Tashkent to you. Okay, I think I haven't missed anyone. Couple questions. National holiday in Uzbekistan, by the way, so 3 days off for the entire country. Uraza, that's the end of Muslim fasting. It's like Easter for Muslim. Paul Wright, the Russian spiders are in a jar, getting fat, and it's slowly but steadily tipping over. When it impacts, there will be conflict. Anyway, blessing always, prayers for your family. Paul, I'm totally with you on that. You're absolutely right. Well, that's kind of what I said before, too. They're fighting right now. They're getting fat, and it's going to tip over. Yes, there will be conflict. There will be blood. There will be fight. Andreas, Ural River have a high level, but such new buildings have to calculate this. Well, we'll see, because right now the capital of the province, city of Orenburg, it's a fairly large city, is being flooded. And we will see how those new wonderful buildings, whether the engineers, designers calculate it or not. And popcorn is right here. Get yours ready. How is it now with the Russian friends? Jack, if you're asking me about that, I don't talk to some people any longer. But there are some people that I know that support the war, and there's nothing to talk about with them. With some of them, I continue being friends. They're perfectly normal. They're against the war. Some left Some are still in Russia. Some are vocal, some are not. We live, we learn, new friends arrive, some friends become not friends anymore. Life. Pinda, I think you are speaking riddles today. Aidalftir. I don't know what it means. Aaron Love, I have a prediction for you. Will you mail it? Don't worry, it doesn't involve Prigozhin. Yeah, the last thing I do is worry, my friend. Hey, I had to leave everything behind. I had to leave everything behind. I had to step into the darkness to leave my life behind. I had to make my new life someplace in Uzbekistan. Trust me, there's not much worries me anymore. So one thing is, certain people after me, that worries. But other than that, there's nothing worries me. So definitely, Prigozhin, not Prigozhin, shoot your prediction an email. I will have pleasure reading it. Nige, looking forward to the crazy news night. It's gonna be tomorrow is gonna be a tough day because one of the founding members of the Breakfast Club, a fella that you have seen if you watch my videos on pictures on Patreon, I take pictures of our breakfast meetings, and he's always there. His birthday tomorrow, so we're going to the mountains for an entire day. I come back and I'll have to. I have about halfway ready halfway finished for tomorrow news update. So I have to work hard to finish it on time. So, but there will be Friday news update. Crusader Damien. FSB announced they have captured 3 Canadian beavers near the dam. Beavers refused to surrender. NATO extraction away. Bang bang induces on it. Make sure you don't send Boeing 337 MAX to extract those beavers, okay? Otherwise, I can't guarantee their safety. KG1, if Putin's strategy is to attack power plants, will he include Ukraine's nuclear stations? Tripolskaya was completely destroyed today. Tripolskaya HPP, heat power plant. That plant is so familiar to me. We did some work on Tripolskaya. This is sad, very sad. I mean, the whole thing is sad, but that particular power plant is known to me. I created an asset with my own hands back in 2007 in Ukraine, in Kharkov. I created one of the companies there, and I literally jumped on a train. I was ordered and given a power to do so by the shareholder, the owner of a company. So I jumped on a train, and back then you could fly, you could take a train. It was very convenient. I jumped on the train. I remember I was given a car with a driver, stopped at my home, changed office suit into travel attire, and while I was going home, a secretary bought me ticket, railroad ticket, train ticket. So I jumped on the train. I fell asleep. I woke up. I was in Kharkov. 8 or 9 hours to get there. So actually I was woken up by Border Patrol. I got there and I started working there, and I created a design center, large design center. Well, not just me solely, but I was the first one there. I was taking care of things, and one of our clients was Tripolskaya HPP, as a large power plant was producing electricity for Kiev and Kiev province and so forth. And today Russians just bombed it completely. I hope they will not bomb nuclear stations, nuclear power plants. I hope that they have enough sense not to do that. They still have some humanity left in them. I don't know what to tell you, KG1. Alvin, I remember, don't, about your birthday. I wanted, and I still want to sing before we go to prayer, just in a couple minutes. Let me just answer a couple more questions and, Pinda the Peanut, good question. I cannot answer that. Dawn, did I see no Ozark in the backwaters of beautiful downtown Moscow? I'm not sure what it means. What's Ozark? In the backwater of beautiful downtown Moscow. Marco Torelli, I am very disappointed and disgusted by the behavior of the West, especially the USA. According to facts, it seems that they're abandoning Ukraine after giving them hope. It's a really hard question to answer. I think it's not as easy and straightforward. Marco, I'm an expert on Russia. I don't know much about the USA and its politics. We do not discuss American politics here. You clearly do not touch the US politics. Thank you. But your question is too tough for me. I don't have my opinion on that. I have emotions, but I don't think emotions is a good answer in this case. Brad MC, thank you so much for your help. Every single dollar counts, by the way. Thank you. Will you blog in the mountains for a bit? Nike does things. I don't know. Gotta discuss it with Lorna. It's gonna be, we're gonna be cooking there, and the Uzbeks will be with us. They're gonna be cooking their Uzbek national dish, damlema. Either making video, perhaps, or making later available to you, or if internet allows, perhaps. But I gotta discuss it with the mods because I can't just stream out of the blue like that, and not warning anyone. The problem is the mods will be asleep in the USA time difference. But anyway, please stay tuned. I will announce somehow if we do that. Thank you. Friends, I would like to pay your attention that we had a birthday boy on April 10th. Well, here it's already April 12th, but in your part of the woods, it's still April 11th. And that means that for you, Alvin's birthday was yesterday, so we didn't have a discussion yesterday. We didn't have a chat. I just uploaded a video. No, actually, we did have a chat. I'm confused. Why? Anyway, Alvin, I would like to sing you the birthday song. Everyone, I'm giving you a fair warning. Please cover up your ears so your ears won't be broken. The master singer is here. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Alvin. Happy birthday to you. I'm laughing at myself, as I'm singing. It's pretty embarrassing. Elvin, what is absolutely joyous to me is that you are such a great member of Inside Russia. Thank you so much. Thank you for keep on coming back. Thank you. I wish you many happy returns of the day, good health, coins in your pocket. So they give you freedom. They give you everything you want to have. I would like to also to wish you that you're surrounded by people who love you and who you love. Happy birthday. Amir, thank you so much for gifting. And there was another gift. Hang on, I've lost it. It was somebody else. Hang on. I saw Amir's and then I saw somebody else giving 5 gifts of membership, but I can't find right now. So I apologize. It doesn't show. Amir, thank you again. And there's a great question from A Star, and I have a question for you. When are you going to get some rest so the people who are following your life don't have to worry so much about you? Well, we can see you're tired. A Star, I don't think that's time to rest now. Well, I actually do take time once in a while. For the first year, I was going without rest. But then it became increasingly difficult, and about a month ago, in early March, I experienced a complete burnout. I couldn't just force myself to do a stream on March 2nd or March 3rd, so I took 3 days off, and I decided to take a week off once in a while. So that's the best I can do so far. Thank you so much for your concerns. And Matimela, thank you for your question and support. Borscht or Solyanka? Both. I like Ukrainian borscht, both better than Solyanka, but Solyanka is also great. That's my second choice. Borscht, then Solyanka, then Harcho. How about that? Steffi, I did tell you to cover up your ears. Okay, friends, it's funny. Thank you so much. So sweet. I don't think that singing birthday song was that sweet. It was kind of terrible, horrible. It was even worse than a Russian attorney general stealing big companies. Okay. Thank you, friends. Let's finish today's stream with prayer, as usual. We have much to pray about and for. Let's do it. Thank you. Dear Lord Jesus Christ, thank you so much for giving everything that we have, giving us everything that we have. Thank you for surrounding us with people who we love, who love us. Thank you for placing food on our tables and giving roofs over our heads. Thank you for everything. Please give us wisdom to keep the skies above our children's heads peaceful and safe. Please give us wisdom to raise our children in a way that when they grow up and become adults, will never fight in any kinds of wars, but they will just love each other. They will make this world a better place. For now, please keep our children healthy and safe, because they are our life and our world. Dear Lord, please help Ukraine. Send safety to Ukrainians. Please help stop the bloodshed. Reach out and touch the hearts and souls of people who are responsible and capable, and make everything that is necessary to soften their hearts, fill them with love, mercy, remind them that they're humans still, so they make this decision to stop the bloodshed. Please send angels to Ukrainians to watch over them and keep them safe, and please help every single Ukrainian who has been affected, answer their prayers, and make their dreams, wishes come true. Please help my country, Russia. Assemble the army of your strongest angels with sharpest swords. Have them led by Saint Michael, and send them to this earth to get rid of the demons who have hijacked my country, who we know by their faces and by their names. Please have angels help good Russian people, good Russians, to run Russia and make it peaceful, loving, and respecting. Please send safety to those who are traveling right now. Send them safe travels. Send safety to those who are in trouble of any kind, in dire straits, in high waters. Please send help to those who are seeking for asylum, running away from danger and evil. Help single mothers who are struggling, raising their children, trying to make ends meet. Please help those who are helping Ukrainians right now, and help those who have been affected by the recent attacks on the country, and help those who are under threat of attacks right now. Send them angels to keep them safe. Please help all those who are sick, addicted, the hungry, the homeless, the jobless, the depressed, the betrayed, losing their faith, having doubts about their lives, not happy, not satisfied with their lives, feeling lonely and alone. Please return faith in those people. Stand by them and have them feel you. Fill their hearts with love, and be with them so they feel you, standing next to them, watching over them, and they feel that they're not alone anymore. They feel that you are with them, watching over them, and helping with every step that they take. Thank you so much for allowing us to come together here and pray every day. Thank you for so many people praying along with me or simply watching us pray. Please answer everyone's prayer and make everyone's wish come true. Dear Lord, I would like to mention a few people and ask for them. They need your help. Their names are Ann Larson and her daughter Hannah, Jeffrey S. and his family, Alex from Albuquerque, Mark Rutten, Liz Dumbrell, Darla, White Lightning, George Ruberty, Dave, Don, Julia Haney, Wayne, who is fighting 2 cancers, Scan family members who need help, Kyle E.'s wife, Rhonda McGillis, Morgan L. N. Morgan L. Dory, Terry Carter, Electron's family, John, Kurt from Colorado, Deborah, Bogey Berger, Susie Mailer, James Marston, Jay Spike, Tracy, War and Peace, Frank Caprio, Gabing with Gary, Jim, Paula W., Frank in Texas. Please have him recover and be healthy, completely healthy. Please have Karena's mom, Dorothy, rest in peace. Help Tim Mayers with lung cancer, send recovery. Larry B., Dominic, Lisa Cumbrian, help send recovery. Tom W. needs recovery after hip replacement surgery. Terry Carter, Natasha, Yelena, Jake, Michael, Oля, Dasha, Sky, Svetlana, Michael, Randolph, Mr. Dean Spooner and his church, Grace, Liz, Karen, David Porter, his family and everyone from Chernovtsi, the Highwayman, Leif, Stefan from Sweden, Alvin and his sister, John Lee McMahon, Meta Spencer, Pamela J., Finola, and Jen Allen. Also, please help Mammy K send strength, and her mother, please send recovery. Thank you so much, dear Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Friends, thank you very much for coming, for giving me a chance with my message, and for our conversation with praying along with me. You are absolutely awesome and you rock. And I would like to ask you to come back tomorrow to see my Friday crazy Russian news update. And I'll be really lots of crazy news because Russia has become a crazy country. I hope to see you all tomorrow. And before I sign off today, I'd like to ask you, as usual, to say along with me as loud as you can, Carthago delenda est.